Welcome to Experiments in Happiness with Michelle Lemus, the podcast for high-achieving women who've checked all the boxes but still feel something's missing.
Welcome back to Experiments in Happiness. I'm your host, Michelle Lemus. Today we're talking about something I never thought I'd actually say out loud, the joy of not knowing what's next. Yes, joy in not knowing. Michelle from 2015 would be side-eyeing me so hard right now. But over the past few years, through burnout, major life pivots, career changes, self-discovery, and building a life that actually feels true to me, I've realized something. Some of the most meaningful, expansive, wildly beautiful parts of our lives begin with uncertainty. So if you're in a season of not knowing, if you're in between chapters, if you're waiting for clarity that hasn't arrived yet, this one's for you. Let's get into it. So here's where I want to start. Most of us grew up believing there's a right path. You work hard, you choose the stable job, you climb the ladder, buy the house, look successful, have a plan, and stick to the plan. And if you didn't know your 5-year plan by 22, well, something must be wrong with you. I used to love the illusion of control. Spreadsheets, checklists, color-coded calendars, yes, please. If I could plan it, I could guarantee the outcome. Or so I thought. But here's the truth. I wish someone had told me sooner. Checking every box doesn't always lead to a fulfilled life. Sometimes you can do everything right and still feel restless, still feel like something's missing, like life is happening around you, but not through you. Nobody teaches us what to do in those moments. Nobody teaches us that the plan we clung to might not be the one that leads us to joy. So today I want to explore what happens when we loosen our grip, even just a little. When you think back on the biggest turning points of your life, did you plan them? Really think about that. The person you met by accident, the career opportunity you stumbled into, the city you moved to on a whim, the idea that wouldn't leave you alone until you tried it. The things that changed everything rarely came from a master plan. They arrived as surprises, accidents, random yeses, moments of why not. What used to scare me, uncertainty, is starting to feel like the most honest part of being alive. The unknown isn't empty. It isn't a failure to plan. It's full of potential we can't see yet. It's the blank page before the story begins. It's possibility, and possibility is where aliveness lives. Let's talk about control for a second. For most of my life, I was a world-class control enthusiast. If I couldn't predict an outcome, I avoided the situation because control felt safe, predictable, responsible. But here's what I've learned. Control says, I need to be certain before I move. Curiosity says, I'll take a step and see what happens. Control keeps us stuck because we're waiting for guarantees. In a world that doesn't deal in guarantees, curiosity creates motion, even when the path is foggy, even if we don't know the whole story. This shift from needing a plan to staying open has changed my life. It's lighter, more playful, and honestly, way more fun. The truth is, life will surprise us whether we approve the timeline or not. So why not play along? Now, I want to be very real about this. Not knowing what's next isn't all sunshine and alignment journaling and cute coffee shop vibes. Sometimes it feels terrifying. Maybe you've left a job, or your industry is changing, or you're ending a relationship, or you're simply outgrowing the version of yourself you used to be. That kind of uncertainty is gritty. It can feel like standing at the edge of a cliff, looking out into fog, with absolutely no guarantee of what's next. But underneath the fear is a question: who do I want to be now? And that question is where the magic starts. That's the moment you get to reinvent, to listen inward instead of outward, to build from desire instead of obligation. It's the moment you choose yourself. Instead of asking, what's the plan? Try asking, what feels alive for me right now? That shift alone can change everything. Sometimes your next step isn't a perfectly crafted strategy. Sometimes it's just a tiny spark, a subject you're curious about, someone you feel drawn to connect with, a project that won't leave you alone, an idea you whisper only to yourself. You don't have to build the whole staircase. Just take the one step that feels alive. The next one will reveal itself. It always does. Let me get personal for a moment. Right now, I'm in a season of building a business and a movement that I care deeply about. Podcasting, writing, all of it. And as much as I absolutely love it, I do not know exactly where it's going. I have dreams. I have goals. I'm doing the work, but I'm also allowing it to unfold. Old me would have needed to know. Where will this be in 5 years? What's the ROI? What's the exact path? Now I'm following what feels true, what feels alive, what feels aligned. And that's enough, more than enough. Okay, you know how we do things around here. Every episode has a little experiment you can take into your week. This one is simple, but not always easy. This week's experiment is to let yourself not know. That's it. Not everything needs to resolve today. Not every question needs an answer. Not every path needs a map. Just for this week. Relax your grip. Here are a few prompts to help you explore. Where am I trying to control every outcome? What is one situation I can soften around? What tiny spark has been nudging me? What might happen if I allowed curiosity to lead? And then take one small action, not to figure everything out, just to explore the landscape. Let it be playful. Let it be low stakes. Let it be an experiment. Because when life becomes an experiment, there is no failure, only learning. Here's what I want to leave you with. What if the uncertainty you're wrestling with right now is not a problem to fix, but an invitation? What if the chapter you can't yet see is better than the one you'd planned? What if you don't need a perfect roadmap to step toward the life you're meant to live? Maybe life isn't asking for certainty. Maybe it's simply asking for your willingness to stay open, to take the next right step, to be guided by curiosity, to trust that you'll meet the moment or when you get there. There is joy in the unknown. There are surprises waiting. There are parts of you that you haven't met yet. So here's to letting life unfold. Here's to the magic of possibility. Here's to not knowing what's next and doing it anyway. Thank you for being here. Thank you for exploring with me. If this episode resonated, share it with a friend. It's how we spread this happiness movement together. And if you're listening to this and thinking, yeah, this sounds easy, but I don't know, I want you to know you're not alone. That's literally why I created the Fulfilled Woman Experiment, a course to help you actually feel the confidence and fulfillment you've worked so hard for. Until next time, stay curious.
Thanks for listening to Experiments in Happiness. You can find more tools and resources at experimentsinhappiness.com.